Broadcasting from the Attention Era Media Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm your Game Master, Josh Scheibe, the man whose dreams of being an NFL player were dashed the first time he saw Charlie Brown miss the football and thought, hey, that's me. And now, here's the right man to kick off the show, the host of What's the Score, Baxter Coleman!
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that, Josh. I was a kicker in high school and for a few seasons in college as well, too, so I appreciate the metaphor. It's very fitting. Well, we've got a great show in store for you today. Summer vacation is almost over. However, if you are looking for an excuse to miss class, why not come and play one of our contestant games? Just go to WTSSportsQuiz.com and fill out our contact or contestant form today.
You can also find the show on demand on the Sports Podcasting Network, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, and Vavel USA.
All right, time to meet our panelists this week. First up, he is a sports journalist, a Youper, and a former all-conference lineman at Wisconsin Lutheran College. Please welcome Ian DeMarse to the program.
Thanks, Baxter. Good to be back on the show, and it's that great time of the year where football's starting, so I'm so jacked to be here today.
Just like the best day ever. Heck with Christmas. It's football season.
Oh, yeah. It's like
that's the most wonderful time of the year, isn't it? I love it. All right, next up, he's a writer, a movie aficionado, and a golf extraordinaire. Please welcome Caleb Pearson to the panel.
Well, thanks for having me back. You know, I was here a couple weeks ago, a wee bit rusty, so I'm looking to work things out today.
Well, we look forward to seeing you chink off some of the rust today, Caleb. All right, and finally, he's our token Detroit Lions fan, the only man that believes Matthew Stafford is an elite quarterback. Please welcome Michael Cyr to the program.
I don't recall ever saying that, but whatever works for you. Contrary to what Ian said, I'm not looking forward to this season. It looks like it's going to be another long one.
So long one for the Lions there.
Yeah.
Is it still a rebuilding project?
Always.
Well, we're excited, though, to have all of you here on the show today. It's time now to get the show on the road, though, Game Master Scheibe.
That's right. We're welcoming in our first contestant to play Quotable Context. It's Joe Gervin.
Hi, gentlemen.
How are we doing today, Joe?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show.
We are excited to have you, Joe. All right, you are going to be playing our first game called Quotable Context, where Game Master Scheibe will read you 5 quotes from this last week's news. Correctly identify at least 3 out of 5 questions, and you will win a What's the Score prize. If you do get stuck on a question, though, Joe, you are allowed to ask one of our 3 panelists for help, but only on one question, so make sure you choose wisely. Are you ready to play, sir?
Let's go.
All right, here is your first quote.
U.S. Soccer determined this is the appropriate disciplinary action.
That was Sunil Gulati issuing a statement about what U.S. soccer player that was suspended this week.
Hope Solo.
Yes, that is correct. As many people know by now, Solo was banned for 6 months and had her national team contract terminated after her comments about USA's loss to Sweden in the Olympics as well. It's one of those things as a coach and as a player, you have to wonder, hey, if a player like this speaks out, is this the proper punishment for someone like her?
I understand the punishment, but you look at the fact that it's 6 months, there's not that many matches that they're going to have, and she's at that point in her career where she might not even be back by the time the suspension starts.
And that's the argument I've been making, too. I said, I mean, even if she does come back, it's that she's at that point in her career where she's going to be far too old for the next Women's World Cup when that finally rolls around in the next 3 years as well, too.
Well, you know, it's kind of, I want to know who's making the time frames for these suspensions. You know, somebody trash talks, they get 6 months. Tom Brady cheats and gets 4 games. I mean, what is going on?
America, Caleb. Welcome to America. That's basically...
What did Tom Brady do again?
I think somebody said he cheated. Yeah, is Tom Brady still a thing? I thought we were on to Jimmy Garoppolo. Either way, Joe, here is your next quote.
He's never been on a team that even had a remote chance of winning an NBA title.
That was Syracuse head coach and U.S. basketball assistant coach Jim Boeheim this week, stating that what former player of his will never win an NBA championship?
Carmelo Anthony.
Yes, that is correct. So Boeheim had nothing but good things to say, of course, about Melo, but did make it a point to say that he thinks Melo will never be on a team capable of winning an NBA championship. I mean, it's the Knicks. Aren't they the next super team from what all we've been hearing from everybody?
They're the next. That's what they say, but they're like the older super team, so they're not.
And then to say, if we hit reverse by 5 years,
exactly.
This is an elite team with the kind of what the Warriors are.
You wouldn't
right
have
now.
Porzingis though.
Well,
Porzingis might take that next step and drop like 30 and 10 every night or something. Probably not. But.
Knicks fans are certainly hoping that's what ends up coming. All right, here's your next quote, Joe.
I think we have a chance to win every game.
That was Derrick Rose this week, stating that he thinks what team will win it all this NBA season.
Derrick Rose. The New York Knickerbockers
Yes.
win the NBA championship?
Yes, I know.
Good heavens.
I know. Maybe Derrick Rose should be listening to this show because, as all of you will recall, just a mere 30 seconds ago, we just had a question saying that his old coach says that, or not his old coach, but Carmelo Anthony's old coach said that the Knicks have no chance of winning an NBA championship.
I mean, it's definitely possible if you're playing 2K16, maybe.
Let's say 2K16, 2K17, you can get those like cheats to unlock Michael Jordan on the team or something.
Well, in his defense, I don't think he was necessarily saying that they're going to go 82-0 and like win the NBA championship, but that they have the chance to be in every game with the players that they have. I'm not.
Isn't every team now? Aren't the Lions in every game until the ball's kicked off?
Yes.
Until the coin flip, and then once they lose the coin flip, it just all kind of goes downhill from there, basically.
Yeah. I got nothing.
Of course. That's nothing against you, of course. All right, Joe, here is your next quote.
I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color.
That was what NFL quarterback this week whose actions during the national anthem raised national concern?
That great American patriot, Colin Kaepernick.
Yes, that is correct. For those that don't know, Kaepernick came under heavy fire after he decided to sit during the national anthem to protest current events in the United States. There is still no word officially, though, if he will be punished for his actions or not. All right, here is your final quote, Joe.
If it was a full game, it would have been a bloodbath.
That was Seattle Seahawks Cam Chancellor after this last week's preseason game against the Dallas Cowboys, speaking about his one-on-one battle with what Cowboys player?
I have an idea, but I'm not exactly sure, so I think I'm going to reach out to our esteemed panel here.
Okay. Would you like to talk to Caleb, Ian, or Michael for a potential hint?
Ian, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, so I can help you out. All right, so
Thank you.
the hint I'll give you is he was an Ohio State Buckeye, and he had the crop top. He's known for wearing the crop top jersey, or the suit, I should say.
As I am also wearing
Thank you
right
for
now.
clearing that up.
So who do you think it is then,
Hopefully
Joe?
not the crop top.
Yeah, it's radio,
Ezekiel
thankfully.
Elliott.
Yes, that is correct.
Good
Ezekiel
job,
Elliott.
Ian. Thank you.
Yes, Ezekiel Elliott is one of those players that many people know will certainly have a lot of more responsibility now this season, especially now with Tony Romo going down for 6 to 10 weeks, as many people say. So we'll have to see just what the Cowboys have in store for us this coming season.
It's been like an interesting situation with Elliott, with the fact that goes to the NFL draft, wears this weird tuxedo where you can see his abs, then he suddenly gets one of the best popular selling jerseys in the NFL, and then this whole thing with his ex-girlfriend, and now the fact that when they're in Seattle, he went to this marijuana place and just was like looking around there. It's just like this guy's had like up and downs, and he's got so much potential. I mean, who knows what's going to happen next for the guy.
Well, it's one of those things, too, you have to understand, too, with Ezekiel Elliott, a guy from Ohio State. He helped them win a national championship. He's just a very versatile player as well. All right, Game Master Scheibe, how did Joe do on our quiz?
Joe got a perfect score of 5 out of 5. He's a winner!
Hey, congratulations, Joe. Thank you so much for playing, sir.
Before we move on, I do want to note that Ian gets a point because of that successful hint.
Hey, nicely done, Ian. Starting off the show with a bang. I love it.
And we're heading to our first break now, but when we come back, our panelists will have their first crack at showcasing their knowledge of this week's sports news. Don't go away. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz.
Two Up Front is the American soccer show on the Sports Podcasting Network. Join Baxter Colburn and Simon Provan on Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Central as they cover all things American soccer, with weekly guests from the pro, college, and youth ranks, and digging deep into the American professional leagues. Two Up Front gives you the insight you're looking for. Airing at 11:30 a.m. Central on SportsPodcastingNetwork.com, it's Two Up Front, the world's game from an American perspective.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. I'm your Game Master, Josh Scheibe. This week, our panelists are Ian DeMarse, Caleb Pearson, and Michael Cyr. And now, here's your host at the Attention Era Media Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. We've had a great show so far. A reminder for all of you, of course, to go and check out our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com. See how close Mr. DeMarse is to overtaking Dan Pfeiffer for that number one spot. Will it happen one day? Yes, maybe, possibly. We don't know. We do have rumors, though. Their agents have spoken, and at least sometime in September, the DeMarse versus Pfeiffer showdown will happen at some point. Are you excited about that, Ian?
Oh, yeah. I've always liked going against the best, and right now he's the best, so it'll definitely be a great
You've
show.
got the size advantage, but I want to know how that's going to shake out. I'm really curious. All right, panel, well, we have some more questions for you about this last week's sports news. Michael, we'll start with you. The city of Boston took home another championship by winning what finals in what magical sport?
Quidditch?
Yes, that is correct. You seem befuddled by that.
I was very befuddled, but you said magical, and I was like, really? There's a Quidditch league or something like that?
Yes, Major League Quidditch. This was founded only 2 years ago, but it already boasts 16 teams across North America. This season, the Boston Knight Riders took home the championship for the second year in a row. They might want to talk to the Red Sox about what it takes to be consistent and win a championship as well on a national level.
Well, I don't know. It took the Red Sox over 100 years at one point.
They get one every 100 years.
Yeah.
That's all it is, basically. But, I mean, yeah, credit to, nobody needs the Celtics or the Bruins. I mean, you now have the Boston Knight Riders and the Patriots as the two, primary championship winning teams in Boston now. If that's what this world has come to, I'm a little concerned, I guess.
All right, Ian, the next one's for you. This week, the Arizona Coyotes hockey team signed the first what in NHL history to their team?
I'm going to need a hint for that one.
A hint on this one. So we've heard about these things being signed for NFL teams. Last season, there was, I believe, the first one of these signed in the NFL, and now NHL hockey has their first one of these. If that makes any sense.
Are you saying like some sort of agreement, kind of? Or?
It's not an agreement. It involves one physical person.
Oh, a female coach?
Yes, that is correct. The first full-time female coach. Arizona announced the hiring of Dawn Braid. She's a skating coach who also has worked with the Leafs, Sabres, and other teams as well.
So when you were talking about that, I just thought of the Lions just hired cheerleaders this year. So it's like, there's hockey cheerleaders now? What the heck is he talking about?
Yes. I was going to say, do they actually have hockey cheerleaders? I know they have dance teams sometimes that'll dance in the stands and stuff.
Like figure skaters going around with
or the ice crew or whatever, isn't that kind of what they're called?
Put them on the Zambonis.
Yes, on the Zambonis. They usually strap kids on there.
I'm just picturing people in parkas with pom-poms now.
Yeah, so it's cold.
It's cold, go team.
I love it. All right, Caleb, final question here. This round goes to you. The closing ceremonies of the Rio Olympics found themselves delayed. No, not due to Zika or anything else, because everybody was doing what?
Can I get a hint?
You can get a hint. Right. It involved one of the U.S. gymnasts, and everybody wanted proof that they got to see this person.
What was it? Simone Bales had trouble carrying in the flag.
Well, it involves Simone, but like I said, people wanted to show proof that they got a chance to hang with Simone while they were there.
Hold on, I need to have some self-reflection here. Everybody wanted to take a selfie with her?
Yes, that is exactly right. So it's one thing for, a national crisis or a disease or something, or colored water to stall an event, but the closing ceremonies of the Olympics were stalled. I don't know the exact amount of minutes, because everybody that would walk by Simone Biles would ask her for a picture. People around the country continue to just be like, "Yo, I want a picture with you," kind of a thing. So it was very interesting.
Well, they needed to snap back into that and quick chatting so people could get the ceremonies over with.
You're terrible. I love it.
Well, we're heading to a break, but when we come back, our second contestant hopes to win one of our nice prizes here. Yes, that is a pun. We'll show you what we mean in just a couple of minutes when we come back on What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz.
everyone, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz.
And I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe.
If you think you are smart enough, or smarter than a fifth grader, and want to play our games on air, you can either come by the studio or you can call us, but there's a few different ways you can get a hold of us.
If you'd like to email us, you can do so at WTSSportsQuiz@gmail.com.
Or for you social media savants, head over to Facebook, What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz, or Twitter, WTS Sports Quiz. Now back to the action with myself and Josh Scheibe.
Hey, it's Kevin of the Sports Podcasting Network. On SPN, on top of What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz, you can find a plethora of great sports podcasts. Hardwood Radio, Gridiron Radio, Sports, It's in the Game, Scuderia F1, the second most listened to F1 podcast in the whole world, Soccer Today, live radio shows like Open Lines After Dark, MLS Postgame Show, 202 Soccer Podcast, Off the Woodworks, and much, much more. All that on the Sports Podcasting Network.com.
Hello all, and welcome back to the Attention Era Media Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master. We have a fantastic panel here today. It's Michael Cyr, Caleb Pearson, and Ian DeMarse, and they'll have the opportunity to show their prowess in just a little bit. Before that, though, here's the host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Coming up, we put our panelists to the test in our Name 5 Panelist Showdown. If you think you are smart enough to play our games on the air, it really doesn't take much. I mean, look at our panel this week. We encourage you to visit our website. Go to WTSSportsQuiz.com and sign up today.
Playing our next game is William Walters. Welcome to the show, William.
How are you guys doing this afternoon?
William, we are just over the moon excited to be doing the show today and to have you back on the program as well. For those that are avid followers, they know that you were on a couple months ago and you did a fantastic job, but we thought it was only fitting to have you back on the program again, William. You are going to be playing a game that, as many people know, has been a bit of a hot topic recently involving the Olympics. It was announced that U.S. women's national team goalkeeper Hope Solo was banned for 6 months, and her national team contract was terminated. All of this, of course, coming off the back of her wonderful comments about the Swedish national team after their loss in the Olympic quarterfinals.
In this game, which we're calling Hope Shot First, and yes, that is a Star Wars reference, referencing Han shot first because he did, we'll ask you 5 questions about Solo and her interesting life and career. Correctly answer at least 3, and you'll win a What's the Score prize. Also, if you get stuck on a question, you are allowed to ask a panelist for a hint, but only on one question, so make sure you choose wisely. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right, here's your first question. Solo found a passion for soccer thanks to whom? Was it A, her aunt, B, her little sister, or C, her dad?
You know what? I hate to do this on the first question, but I'm going to ask the panel.
Oh, my goodness. Are you sure? You really want to ask them? I mean, not to say that the rest of the questions are a cakewalk, but I just want to make sure because it is the first question.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. Game Master Scheibe, one more time, please.
Solo found a passion for soccer thanks to whom? Was it A, her aunt, B, her little sister, or C, her dad?
All right, I'm just going to take a guess and go with her dad.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done.
Oh, wow.
Yes, her father, as much as some people may or may not know, she had a bit of a falling out with her dad later on in his life, and of course he passed away a couple years ago as well. She said regardless of all the issues, her dad was still the main driving factor to get her started with soccer at the mere age of 5. All right, here's your next question, William. Aside from soccer, Solo was also a part of Dancing with the Stars a couple years back. While on the show, though, she claimed that her dance partner did what to her during a rehearsal? Was it A, stormed out and said she was a terrible person, B, slapped her in the face, or C, accidentally broke her nose by dropping her during a dance move?
Oh, I have to be honest. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I don't watch much Dancing with the Stars.
You're more of a bachelorette kind of guy. I totally understand it.
I am gonna. I am going to go with, what were the three options again?
It was A, her dance partner stormed out and said she was a terrible person. B, her dance partner slapped her in the face. Or C, her dance partner accidentally broke her nose by dropping her during a dance move in rehearsal.
I'm going to go with C.
Accidentally broke her nose during rehearsal?
Yep.
That is incorrect. No, unfortunately. She claimed that he slapped her in the face, although he denies the allegations, of course. But, has anybody tried to deal with Hope Solo? She might. I just don't know.
Was her dancing partner Rick James from the Chappelle Show?
What
did the five fingers say to the face? Slap!
It was Maxime, actually. But either way, though, I still appreciate your effort on that one. It was above my head. I was homeschooled, Caleb. You got to keep this a little bit more mainstream so I can... Anyway, all right, here's your next one.
Those close to Solo know that she's not one to be messed around with. Apparently, after her first love in high school broke her heart, what did she do in return? Did she A, slash his car tires, B, punch him in the face, or C, date his best friend for 3 years?
Well, she definitely didn't write a song about him like Taylor Swift would. I'm going to say she slashed his car tires.
I really wish she would have, and maybe she did, but no, she punched him in the face, apparently. Her high school love broke her heart, so in retaliation, she popped him a good one right in the face.
I mean, if you look at her recent past, it doesn't surprise me that that's the answer.
It had to stem from somewhere, I guess. I don't know. All right, William, here's your next question. Hope Solo attended Washington University. However, when it came time for graduation, what was her excuse for missing the ceremony? Was it A, she had to play in a professional soccer game, B, her dog ate her graduation dress, or C, her boyfriend was arrested and couldn't drive her to the ceremony?
I would hope that the reason is that she had a soccer game.
Yes, that is correct. All right, here is your final one, William.
Aside from being a world-class soccer player, Hope Solo is also a what? Is it A, a world-renowned chef, B, a best-selling author, or C, an internationally ranked tennis player?
Okay, I know it's not C, so I'm going to go with the panel here. Is it A or B, guys?
All right, well, who would you like to ask? You can ask Caleb, Ian, or Michael for a hint.
Let's go with Michael.
Michael, all right. How can you give William a hint on this one?
I wouldn't write off this question.
Does that help you at all?
It does. Can you repeat which one was A and which one was B?
So A was a world-renowned chef, or B, a best-selling author.
Okay, I'm going to go with B.
Yes, that is correct. Best-selling author, yes. I believe it's called Solo, The Journey of Hope, or I don't know. It's some weird... Anyway, either way, it was a best-selling book, and the New York Times loved it, of course. Game Master Scheibe, how did William do on our quiz?
William got 3 out of 5 correct. He's a winner!
Hey, nicely done, William. Congratulations, and thank you so much for playing, sir. All right, panel, let's move along and ask you guys a couple of questions. Ian, we'll start with you. Fans of the Atlanta Falcons got a great surprise this week when they opened their copy of Madden 2017 and started to play it. What was it?
Can I get a hint, please?
Yes, you can. Not only do you get to see where the concession stands are, but you get to hear the artificial sound pumped into the new stadium as well.
So that... Would it be that their new stadium was on the game?
Yes, yep, exactly. Yes. It's also, the game also features things where you're able to start off a season very strong and then ultimately crash and burn after 6 games. And then also, as previously mentioned, you can also have extra crowd noise pumped into the stadium as well to make it seem louder than it actually is as well.
Okay.
Took me a second to realize that you were not talking about the Lions there.
Yes, you're like, wait a minute. Yes, the Falcons, Lions, two animals of the same feather, but not.
No.
Not really. No, I don't know. Either way. But the way they both played last year, it was one of those things. Yeah.
Okay, Caleb, the next one's for you. The Michigan Wolverines lost a top 5 recruit this past week after the school did what?
I have no idea. Could I please request a hint?
You can request a hint. Would you like it from me or from Josh?
I'm going to go with you.
Oh, with me? Oh,
yes,
okay.
Of course.
Well, as many people know that when you apply to a college, usually there are pre-college events that you can attend, and sometimes you will get a certain thing in the mail as well for a token of their appreciation for you attending said event.
Did he break his leg at a kegger?
He did not. No. That would have been a better story, unfortunately. No. So basically what happened, Michigan sent him a thank you letter for an event that he never attended. It was one of those, standard form letters that everybody got for like a before-school barbecue. What was even worse, though, is that they spelt his first and last name wrong on the letter. And he was not happy about that. For those that know, of course, Jim Harbaugh and his organization don't usually make a lot of mistakes unless, of course, it's on a punt or something occasionally. But
man, no sympathy here.
Aside from
anything.
that, I mean, but no. So basically, what happened? This guy said he was going to decommit and probably go somewhere else. Apparently, this happened to Ohio State a couple years ago too with Urban Meyer. He lost a guy, and then he ended up going and committing to USF. So I don't really know if he won or not in that situation.
I mean, despite that, it's not really going to hurt Michigan too much, really. I don't believe, but I mean.
He was he was like a top 70 pick overall, person overall, but he was a top 5 D lineman. So, if Michigan's pass rush suffers this year, then we'll know, I guess. Yeah. It's one of those situations.
Yeah.
Does Michigan traditionally have a good pass rush?
Relatively, yeah. I mean, he was a class of 2017, I think, so he probably wouldn't have played right away.
He had one more, I was going to say, he had one more season.
Probably would have been a couple of years before he would have made an impact.
Sure.
Anyway,
I think they were like a top 20 defense last year.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. All right, last question here. This round goes to you, Michael. One fan of Steph Curry actually thought it was a good idea this past week to spend $3,190 on a used what of Curry's?
I'm going to need a hint for that one.
It's the most iconic thing that Steph Curry does aside from make buckets every game.
Yeah, it's not clicking. Yeah, I don't know.
Got nothing for me?
No.
It was his mouth guard, actually. His used mouth guard, as many people know. Yes, he gets fired up. He throws his mouth guard, but he's always chewing on it before he takes free throws, and people, of course, lose their mind saying, it's bad for your teeth, and all that other kind of stuff. Maybe that's what they sound like. I don't know.
I mean, it's bad. It might be bad for your teeth, but he's over 90% from the free throw line, so it's probably good for when
it's working out for him. But yes, the fact that someone thought it was a good idea to spend almost $3,200 on a used.
Was it the specific one that he threw?
Yeah, it actually says like Curry on it on the side. I think it was one of those.
The one that he threw and hit the fan right in the face during the finals.
Maybe that person decided to take it and resell it, but. Maybe if he'd have wanted it sold for more, I guess. It's one of those things. I have no idea.
Well, it's time for another break, but don't worry, we'll be right back, and our panelists will have another chance to answer some questions about this week's sports news. You're listening to What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz.
Hey guys, this is Baxter Colburn, host of What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. If you enjoy listening to What's the Score, why not go and donate to our Patreon account today? That's patreon.com. Search for What's the Score and donate today. You can get awesome t-shirts, before the show shout-outs, and so much more. Tell your friends about us. Hey, if you donate, we'd be happy to give you a shout-out and even have you come on the show and play a game or two with us as well.
James Corsmo of TitletownSoundoff.com here with the man they call Bobo.
Howdy.
And we want to tell you a bit about our podcast, Titletown Sound.
We're fans of the Green Bay Packers, as I'm sure many of you are, and we know there are plenty of opinions out there, but we think we give you some unique takes that vary between the level-headed and sensible, all the way to the entertainingly absurd.
That's our specialty, the entertainingly absurd.
Sure is. We've got other hosts to talk sensible-like.
So the website is Titletown Soundoff, and the podcast is Titletown Sound?
That's right.
So the podcast just leaves off the off.
Yes.
So fans of the Packers should go in to TitletownSoundOff.com to get into the podcast.
Exactly.
That's a lot of prepositions.
Sure is, James. It sure is. Now back to two of my favorite prepositions on the interwebs, Baxter and Josh.
Those are nouns.
Oh yeah.
Welcome back to What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz, and thanks for listening in. We're broadcasting from the Attention Era Media Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe. We're playing this week with Caleb Pearson, Michael Cyr, and Ian DeMarse. And here, once again, is your host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. Moving on with the show now. Time for our last slate of questions for our panelists this week. Game Master Scheibe, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, Caleb, the first one's for you. During a routine mound visit during the Little League World Series, what took place between the coach and the pitcher?
Can I get a hint? I'm kind of on a cliff with this one.
I didn't know if you were actually like punning me or what you
No,
were
no,
doing.
I honestly don't know.
You really have no idea. Okay.
I don't know. I don't read, apparently.
Apparently not. I barely do. It's baseball. Either way, Josh has a hint for you. Yes.
Okay.
They have a very familiar relationship.
Mm.
They were fighting, family fighting.
No, not exactly, unfortunately. You were right about the family part, but no, the coach was dad, and he told the pitcher, his son, mid-game, that he loved him and that he was proud of him after he, I think, had just given up like a home run or something like that, which is really not pitching very well. It was a very feel-good moment, but of course, as Twitter does, Twitter likes to make fun of things like this, and some people were like, oh, that's so cute, and other people were like, you guys should have mic'd up my dad in Little League. You couldn't have been able to publish half the things that he said. It was... either way, though, it was a very heartwarming thing to see happen in that regards. All right, Michael, a question for you. This week, Will Ferrell and Magic Johnson were on site to break ground for a stadium for what new soccer team?
LAFC.
Yes, that is correct. Soccer questions, so good. But yes, both Johnson and Farrell are part owners of the club, along with Mia Hamm and other many notable figures. LAFC will play in MLS starting in 2018 and hope to be a rival club to the LA Galaxy as well.
All right, Ian, the last one's for you. Real Madrid, Manchester City, and Juventus were among the 32 teams drawn into what major soccer tournament?
I'm going to need a hint because soccer's not my sport.
See, since you have no idea, that kind of puts me in a bit of a corner, even if I were to give you a hint. Are you familiar with European soccer at all?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so you know how we have the World Cup and the Olympics, of course. This is the World Cup for European soccer clubs, but it doesn't say cup or...
Is it UEFA? FIFA?
You were right with UEFA, but there's something else that goes with it. I can't just give it to you on UEFA.
The UEFA Cup?
No, unfortunately not. It's the UEFA Champions League is what it is. Yes, the Champions League. They have their theme. They're the champions or whatever they do. A bunch of people sing it, and it sounds beautiful. Real Madrid won the tournament last season. For those that are avid soccer followers, you'll know that. This season, of course, we'll see if they can repeat as well.
Any Leicester City in this one?
Leicester City is because they won the Premier League outright. They have qualified, and they're in the 32-team tournament.
Okay,
So
how much of a long shot are they for this one?
They have a better
I don't
chance.
expect you to know everything.
I don't know that officially, but they have a better chance than a lot of the other teams, purely based off that they kept most of their team together from last year. So, and traditionally, though, English clubs have not done very well.
Well, folks, it's time for me to break up the fun once again. But before we move on, I do want to note that Michael got an additional point for giving a successful hint in our second game. And when we come back, our final contestant will play another one of our games. Don't go away. You're listening to What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz.
Two Up Front is the American soccer show on the Sports Podcasting Network. Join Baxter Colburn and Simon Provan on Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Central as they cover all things American soccer, with weekly guests from the pro, college, and youth ranks and digging deep into the American professional leagues. 2 Up Front gives you the insight you're looking for. Airing at 11:30 a.m. Central on SportsPodcastingNetwork.com, it's 2 Up Front, the world's game from an American perspective.
Welcome back, everyone. This is What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master. Our Name 5 panelist showdown is coming up, but first we have a game called What Sport Is It? Here to get the game going is your host of the Attention Era Media Studios here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. Fantastic show so far today. We've talked about all kinds of different things. We've talked about soccer on the show, Game Master Scheibe, more than I feel like we have in a long time.
I think you're right.
But, hey, soccer's a beautiful sport, except nobody knows anything about soccer. So we'll have to get a more soccer-y panel, and I think Peter Wilt needs to come back sometime. All right, let's move along with the show, Game Master Scheibe.
It's time to welcome in our final contestant. Playing our final game is Michael Hunt. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, Michael, we are excited to have you here. You are going to be playing our game this week, which is called Which Sport Is It? For you and many other sports fans out there, you know that the sports world is full of so many tricky and confusing terms describing what is happening on the field, on the court. So we thought putting a game together about some of those interesting terms might be a helpful idea.
In this game, which we're calling Which Sport Is It?, we'll give you 7 sports terms, and you must tell us what sport that term commonly belongs to. Correctly answer at least 4 questions, and you'll win a What's the Score prize. Remember, if you get stuck, you can ask a panelist for a hint, but only one time, so choose wisely. Are you ready to play?
Sure, let's go.
All right, your 3 sports that you get to choose from this week are water polo, equestrian polo, and racquetball. All right?
Racquetball and
Yep. So we'll give you the question, and then you just got to tell us which sport it is. Okay?
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Here we go. Here's your first one. If we said the word bunny, what sport would that be referring to? Is it A, water polo, B, racquetball, or C, equestrian polo?
bunny. I would say water polo.
Yes, that is correct. A bunny is a goal scored on a power shot close to the goalkeeper's head. All right, here is your next one.
If we said hired assassin, which sport would we be talking about? A, water polo, B, racquetball, or C, equestrian polo?
Could you repeat that, please?
If we said hired assassin, which sport would we be talking about? Water polo, racquetball, or equestrian polo?
Racquetball.
No, that is incorrect, actually. It was equestrian polo. A hired assassin is a professional player, actually.
That kind of makes a little sense, because if you are an assassin, maybe you're trying to get away on a horse, so maybe.
Cheeky. I love it. All right, here's your next one. If we said cutthroat, what sport would we be talking about? Is it A, water polo, B, racquetball, or C, equestrian polo?
Racquetball.
Yes, that is correct. This is a racquetball variant for 3 players in which 2 players team up against the server, with players alternating at the server position as well.
If we said Wellingtons, what sport would we be talking about? Is it A, water polo, B, racquetball, or C, equestrian polo?
Equestrian polo.
Yes, that is correct. Wellingtons, they are the rubber boots ideal for treading in wet weather. They are usually green. I believe my wife owns a pair of Wellingtons, except they are more rainbow-colored instead. I do not have a pair of Wellingtons. They're like a rain boot, basically. It's a fancier term. But now the next time you go out, like, I fetched my Wellingtons. Yes, it sounds much better. All right, here is your next one. I'm going to move on before I get slapped. If we said plum, what sport would we be talking about? Water polo, racquetball, or equestrian polo?
Did you say plum?
I did say plum.
Plum. I would say water polo.
No, that is incorrect, unfortunately. Plum is from racquetball. It is a setup opportunity for a great offensive shot, usually a shot which can be hit at knee level or lower. All right, here is your final question.
Second to last, I believe, actually.
Pardon me, yes.
If we said queasy, which sport would we be talking about? Water polo, racquetball, or equestrian polo?
Water polo.
That is incorrect. It's equestrian polo. It's the feeling that a polo player has just before a fall.
Felt queasy, yes. They name it for everything. Your Wellingtons or your boots. I was queasy. It's like you're falling. No, I'm queasy. Okay, sure. Gerald? I don't know. All right, here's your final one, Michael, for real this time. If we said egg beater, what sport would we be talking about? Is it A, water polo, B, racquetball, or C, equestrian polo?
Water polo.
Yes, that is correct. Egg beating is a form of treading water, named because the circular movement of the legs resembles the motion of egg beaters. Game Master Scheibe, how did Michael do on our game?
Michael got 4 out of 7 correct. He's a winner!
Hey, nicely done, Michael. Thank you so much for playing, sir.
Well, the moment you've all been waiting for is almost here. Stick around and listen to our panelists duke it out on the Name 5 Panelist Showdown coming up right after the break. Don't go away. You're listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. Hello all, I'm Josh Scheibe, your game master here at What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. Thanks for listening in. I may not know much about sports, but what I do know about are our social media pages. Check us out on Facebook at What's the Score, or Twitter and Instagram at WTS Sports Quiz. Thanks very much for listening. Hi everyone, I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe.
And I'm your host, Baxter Colburn.
Hey, if you think the show is worth at least $1, why don't you go to our Patreon account?
We'd be very grateful if you donate to the show. That's how people like Josh and I stay employed, or pretend to be employed at least. Thank you so much for listening to What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. And now, back to more sports trivia action.
Hope my check's in the mail. Hello and welcome back. Thanks for listening to What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe. Our panelists have been warming up for their final showdown. While they get ready, here's your host at the Attention Era Media Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. Well, not all at once, please. Please, thank you. Anyway, we've had a great show so far today. We've had some contestants on. I believe everybody has gone home a winner as well, too, Game Master Scheibe. That just warms my heart that we can bless so many people with amazing prizes. Anyway, it is now time for our favorite part of the show, Game Master Scheibe. What time is it?
It's time for the Name 5 Panelist Showdown. Our panelists will be given 4 topics in which they will have 10 seconds to name 5 people, teams, places, or things related to the sports world. Each panelist will have the same category. However, they cannot repeat answers. 1 point is awarded for each correct answer.
Game Master Scheibe, can you give us the scores, please?
I can. Caleb has 1 point. Ian and Michael both have 3.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Wow. Okay. Well, nicely done, guys. Holy cow. All right. Well, we'll be leading off with who's in last place? I promise I'm listening today.
That would be Caleb.
Caleb, you are up first. All right. My favorite panelist. All right. You're going to be leading us off, Caleb, by naming 5 current NBA players. 10 seconds, current NBA players, and begin.
LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Dwight Howard.
There we go. He got 5. Well done. Well done. On to you, Mr. Ian. 10 seconds, and begin.
Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green, Andrew Bogut.
There you go. He got 5 as well. And Mr. Cyr, can we go 3 for 3?
Hopefully.
And begin.
Reggie Jackson, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Andre Drummond, Marcus Morris, Tobias Harris.
I'm sorry, who did you say was your second one?
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Oh, my God. Oh, yes, either way, that is still correct. Holy cow.
They're all on the Pistons, I promise.
Sure.
He's correct.
All right, here we go. Round 2, starting with you, Ian. You're going to be naming 5 Major League Soccer teams. 10 seconds and begin.
Los Angeles Galaxy, New York Red Bulls, the Seattle Sounders, the Colorado Rapids, and that's it.
All right, he got 4. All right, Mr. Cyr, on to you. 10 seconds. Go.
Columbus Crew, New England Revolution. I almost said the same thing again. LAFC, does that one count yet? Minnesota United? No. I'm trying here. Portland Timbers?
Yep.
I'll take
you got
3.
3. We were looking for current teams.
Yeah.
Those teams are not.
I swear I'm listening.
Yeah. you and me both. You and me both. All right, Caleb. 7 teams have been named out of the current 20 teams.
I don't know any teams, so I'm just going to make these up.
Sounds good. 10 seconds and go.
The Nebraska Corn Gulls.
Nearly.
The Illinois Toll Booths.
Last year.
The Minnesota Lakes.
No.
The Maine Lobsters. And the Massachusetts Angry People.
I think you got that last one. No, that is incorrect. This is why I love this show. This is the reason.
I feel like I should give you a point just for the quality of those puns.
You're the game master. You can give him 1 point if you want to. I guess not. All right. Michael, you're going to be leading off our 3rd round by naming 5. What's the score, panelists? 10 seconds and begin.
Michael Cyr, Caleb Pearson, Ian DeMarse. Shoot. Peter Wiltz.
Yep. All right, he got 4. He took the obvious ones, boys. Caleb, over to you with 10 seconds and begin.
Michael Biermeister, Mitch Vomhoff, Armin. I don't want to mispronounce his last name.
Yep. All right, he got 3. All right, Ian, 10 seconds over to you and begin.
Eric Condia, Andrew Flegel, Megan Lonvader,
Yep.
Chris Gibbons, and Nick Zurich.
Yes, he got all 5. Nicely done. How interesting. All right, Game Master Scheibe, what are our scores going into the final round?
Caleb has 9 points, Michael has 15, and Ian is in the lead with 17.
Well, how interesting. All right, well, Caleb, you have an opportunity to at least play spoiler on this last one. For those that don't know, our final round works like this. You are given 10 seconds with a topic, but you can name as many as possible in 10 seconds instead of just 5. All right, Caleb, you're going to be going first. This week, we will be naming 5 NFC North players, current NFC North players from the Packers, Lions, Bears, and Vikings. 10 seconds and begin.
Teddy Bridgewater, Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Lacey, Jay Cutler.
Hey, 5 is sometimes all you need, I guess. That's totally fine. Thank you, Caleb. Nicely done.
Thriving with 5.
All right. I believe, is it Michael that's in second place? All right, Michael, 10 seconds, as many as possible, aside from those mentioned before you. Are you ready?
No.
Okay. And begin.
Stafford, Amir Abdullah, Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, DeAndre Levy, Darius Slay, Glover Quinn, Taylor Decker, Riley Reif.
You got 10, really? Wow, okay. Like I said, I was homeschooled. I got 9, but that's fine. 10. You got 10. Well done. All right, so what does Ian need to tie and or win?
Ian needs 8 to tie and 9 to win.
All right, Ian, 10 seconds and go.
Brian Bulaga, David Bakhtiari, JT Treader, Trevor Davis, Jared Cook, Mason Crosby, Brett Hundley, Marquise Wilson, Kevin White, Jared...
He got 9.
He got 9. He got 9. Holy cow. Game Master Scheibe, what are the final scores?
Caleb has 14, Michael has 25, and Ian wins with 26.
Hey! Congratulations, Ian. You pulled it out right at the end there. I was a little concerned that we were going to have to go to a tiebreaker, but with this now, I believe that's 5. 5 shows that you have won Name 5 on. How do you feel?
This one, having to name 8 in that time was definitely difficult. So it's good to be back on a win, getting the win streak going again, hopefully. And I'll give this victory to Eric Condia, my rival.
Your rival from far away. Thank you, Eric, wherever you are, if you're out there listening. Michael, nearly there, but as a traditional line, you just couldn't pull through at the end.
Yeah,
there.
I know. I need to name more Lions. Just one more would have done it.
Throwing up that Hail Mary at the end, and somehow it just managed to...
Never coming on this show again.
Okay. Caleb, you're a Vikings fan. You're used to being made fun of as well, too. Third place, a typical Vikings finish, I feel like, except for last year, of course. But how did you feel about your performance this time? You were a little bit more vocal this time, which I think was good. What'd you think overall?
I was a little more vocal. The heart was there. The knowledge was not. Great panelists. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to being back if I get invited.
The next show is going to be in sign language, Game Master Scheibe. For all of our sakes, I feel like none of us can speak English today. Holy cow! Either way, we appreciate all of you being on the show this week. What's the Score has been a production of the Sports Podcasting Network. Thank you to our contestants and studio audience here at the Attention Era Media Studios. Our panelists this week have been Caleb Pearson, Ian DeMarse, and Michael Cyr. Our social media producer is Tony Larson. Our theme was composed by Danny Hoffenstein. Our show producer was David Bobke. And the executive director of What's the Score is Liz Colburn.
I've been your Game Master, Josh Scheibe.
And I've been your host, Baxter Colburn. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time on What's the Score.